there tankers, welcome to episode 6 of Blitz Tactics. This is a series that looks at what makes successful team play, such as the timing of movement, the setting up of overlapping fields of fire, the use of focus fire, and the use of map coverage. The viewpoints of multiple tanks from one team, or even viewpoints of each side of the battle, are used to set up these examples. In this episode, we have a Tier 8 slugfest on the original Black Goldville. Even though this battle is an example of the original and now outdated version of this map, many of these principles remain the same as the game and the maps and the tanks develop. Once again, I'd like to thank my clan Triari for help with recording gameplay during count-ins. We'll be following the exploits of the North team, which is shown in the lineup here on the left. This team has an IS-6, T-32, T-34 heavies at Tier 8, along with a Tier 28 prototype, an AT-15A TD at Tier 7, a IS heavy tank, and a T-43 medium tank at Tier 7. The South team, which will be in red, has a top tier Cent 1 Tier 8 medium tank, along with IS-6 and T-34 heavies at Tier 8, and a T-28 non-turreted tank destroyer at Tier 8. Tier 7s are a Comet, J-Panther, and a Panther. The red team rolls out with 2 heavy tanks taking it to the caves, as was the typical matter on the first version of this map. The Centurion sets up in the C1 section of rocks. The T-28 moves aggressively forward to the rock at C3. The dotted line in the middle of the map shows the progress of the YOLO Comet, who disappears rapidly in the B6 area. The J-Panther tank destroyer lurks in the mid portion of the map out of sight in the D3, D4 area for most of the game, only popping up at the end. The Panther is also ineffective in this game, only appearing out of spawn to join the Cent later on in the game. The North rollout follows an interesting pattern, which is one of the main takeaways out of this match. 2 heavy tanks push the cave and encounter the IS-6 on the red team. The T-28 prototype sets up underneath the water tower, and the T-32 takes up a position in the B3 area next to the building. The T-43 is also in the B4 area of the map and relocates afterwards. The AT-15A takes up a shooter's position near spawn, while the IS moves south to E6 to take up a position where he gets effective fire in during the game. As the crazed Comet appears, he gets the attention of multiple guns and is disposed of accordingly. The first meaningful contact in the game is as expected in the caves, with the teams in this format of arrangement. There's the expected firefight in the cave of 2 heavies versus 2 heavies, except the engagement is effectively 2 green heavies versus the IS-6, with an additional fire angle put in by the IS down in the E6 area. The T-28 prototype exchanges fire with the T-28 for several minutes, with the T-32 on the North team also involved in crossfire. After the IS-6 is cleared, a secondary series of movements occurs, with the North heavies pushing forward in the cave, the T-32 relocating between the buildings to get additional shots on the T-34 and the T-28, and the North T-43 taking a long flank to nowhere. In the second phase of the game, the Southern T-34 is neutralized by extreme example of focus fire, which leaves the T-28 without protection, and it suffers the same fate. In a final section of movements, the Centurion backs out of the rocks at C2 and is eliminated, and the Panther circles the rock to run into a double tap, with the final tank to go down being the J-Panther. The North gameplay is brought to you by the T-34 and the T-28 prototype. Gameplay timelines jump around a little bit because of the high amount of simultaneous action in certain sections of the battle. The T-34 is called for a move on the caves, and the team's big guns move north. The T-28 prototype is scanning backwards during the rollout, and the IS-6 is moving aggressively into the caves. As the Southern YOLO Comet is spotted, the North team reacts and escorts him back to the garage. The prototype lands a big shot, and the IS finishes him off. At the same time, the Southern IS-6 pops up in the cave and is targeted by both heavies going in that direction. And 1 minute into the game, the North team is already 1 tank up, and the critical engagement between the IS-6s is occurring in the caves. Perhaps sensing that his teammate IS-6 has the red IS-6 under control, the T-34 switches focus to the other red heavy in the cave. Meanwhile, the T-28 prototype and the T-28 have set up their standoff at the rock and the water tower. The red IS-6 goes down in the caves and gets a little bit salty and chapped. And out of sight to the left of the prototype is the green T-32, who's positioning to get shots on the T-34 and keep the T-28 in his sights as well. The green IS-6 and T-34 in the caves move in to prosecute the red T-34. And while still unsighted, the red J-Panther is starting to see the writing on the wall and is issuing the good game salutes already.
Our main gun is...
The green T-32 finishes off the T-34.
Gun is damaged. It's working.
While the red T-28 is putting up a great fight at the rock, he's now running out of protection on his sides. T-34 and IS-6 move to begin to engage the Centurion. But the prototype has been losing the hit point trade with the T-28 and is backing off to seek a safer shooting position.
Enemy armor is damaged.
The red Panther is the second last red tank to be spotted, but doesn't really contribute much to the fight. The green T-32 has moved up aggressively to finish off the T-28. The IS-6 misses or bounces off the scent. The green T-34 damages something, but doesn't take hit points off the scent. Right then, the J-Panther pops up for the first time in the middle of the map as the Proto moves forward to contribute to the endgame. The red scent attempts to back out of trouble, while the Panther, not realising perhaps that he's still spotted, is moving into trouble. The prototype finishes off the scent.
Enemy armor is
as the Panther rolls out right in front of two very large caliber guns.
They're knocked out.
Which leaves only the J-Panther, which everybody is moving in for the kill on. I can't tell who gets him first, but he gets shot and set on fire by the IS before being finished off by the prototype. Taking a look at the battle results screen, it's come out obviously as a very one-sided affair. The outcome could well have been different if the Comet and Centurions had pushed hard to get to the hold down positions in the cave, using their speed to get there first. It may well have given the Southern team an opportunity to win that high ground, and possibly swing the course of the subsequent events. But as it was, the Southern team had 3 tankers with no damage, and that's very hard to overcome. Showing here in slow motion what's quite possibly the determining factor in the match. The battle is less than a minute old, the Comet is down, and the green IS-6 has already managed to get one shot into the red IS-6. In this sequence he gets a second shot in while bouncing return fire, so we can see that very early on in the game the red IS-6 is already at half health and the cave is basically won. It's a very simple description of controlled aggression by the green team, both in setting up an assault on the cave and a crossfire position from the IS in the refinery area. Indeed, the effectiveness of this IS tank is another lesson learned from this match. During the rollout sequence it appeared he didn't do particularly much besides put in the kill shot against the Comet, and it's often a very risky gamble going off on your own as a low tier tank. But by the end of the game he's done more than 1500 points in damage. He's gone to a very specific position at E6 in the refinery, where he's gotten the kill shot in on the IS-6 for 160. If you take that and the shot against the Comet out, that leaves about 1100 damage left unaccounted for, which is a good 3 to 4 shots, assuming he's using the top gun on that tank. He only moves out of this position once the T-28 is down, where he takes up another position in the town, perhaps getting good shots in on the Centurion and Panther. He does get the second to last shot in on the J-Panther. This guy remained unspotted for the entirety of the match and punched well above his weight, which really highlights the utility of having a sniper who knows what they're doing and remains unspotted. The final notable event is the fate of the Southern T-34, which takes 4 hits in an 11.5 second period of time. In slow motion, the first hit is for 445 points from the IS-6. The second hit for 355 points is presumably from the IS. The third hit is for 348 points from the T-34. And the kill shot goes in for 252 from the T-32. And that right there is an abject lesson in focus fire, 1400 points in under 12 seconds. Thank you for watching this episode of Blitz Tactics. Please like, share or comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let's roll out. And remember, whatever you do, explode the potato, don't be the potato.